Hello beautiful souls and welcome to my channel Roseology. So today's video is all about our inner child, what it has been carrying around, what it has been trying to process or heal, what has been disturbing its peace, and how we can bring some healing in. The inner child is such an interesting topic for me because so much of our first impressions of the world happen at a time where we process these things with such a limited level of maturity and understanding. And this reading came to me in a way for us to hear from our own inner child, what's been affecting it, harming it, holding it back, making it feel less safe and valued. The inner child is so crucial because it's the part of us that feels most vulnerable, sacred, and even fragile. And so many of us have had that sacred part of us wounded, traumatized, lied to, abandoned. And that's why as an adult, whether it's 10, 30, 50, or 80 years later, we still carry around those wounds because they cut the most inner part of our psyche and soul. Anything that touches or affects that inner child is something that we can possibly carry around for the rest of our lifetimes, you know? So it's definitely like a snowball effect. It's like the beginning of that snowball effect. And so I figured it would be very important to sort of look into today how that snowball, our inner child, has grown, who it has grown into, and what it's still carrying around. And so the best way to free ourselves, our inner child, is to hear from it and explore it with compassion and patience and understanding. So this may be a bit triggering, and obviously, you know, this is a general reading, meaning that it will resonate with who it is meant to resonate with. Now, very important to understand for those of you new to spirituality or tarot readings in general, or my channel, tarot does not control or dictate your life, okay? I am just interpreting, I'm just the middleman, I'm just interpreting some images on some cards, okay? So it's not the cards that are coming to you with this wise advice. It's not me that is communicating any sort of wisdom to you. This is wisdom that is resonating with you because this wisdom and knowledge is already within you, okay? So you are the ones with the answers. I'm just the one regurgitating back information that you are already aware of. You may just not have realized it just yet, okay? So, you know, if you hear something that you don't like and think that you're just doomed to that reality, then you're not using my readings correctly because my readings are for confirmation and not answers. So realize that at the end of the day, your free will and what you choose to do with it determines your outcomes, not pick a card readings on YouTube. Take your power back, hold on to that power, and realize at the end of the day, this is a tool for reflection. Nothing more. It's not here to decide your life, okay? So please do not utilize it in that way. Don't disrespect tarot in that way, or spirituality in that way, or even yourself and your own power in that way, okay? Be responsible, be accountable, and use this as a guide to help decipher the messages your spiritual team has been trying to send you all along. Let me also say I'm not taking personal readings at this time, and I have not in a couple years, so please do not get scammed by people posing as readers in the comments because it's definitely not me. So now let's get to the meditation. For those of you that want to participate in this meditation, let me just say, like I always do, that this is a general reading for the collective. So in order for this reading to resonate with you, you need to be synced into the energy of this reading. To help you do that and to help you select a pile with your third eye and not your physical ones, I will be offering a 60-second meditation. 30 seconds into that meditation, I'll be placing crystals for my clairvoyants that like to pick piles with objects and visuals. And after the clairvoyant pile selection, there will be a clairaudient selection where I play a different tone for each pile, and you can select a pile based off of which tone resonates with you the most. So if you are drawn to another pile, that's because your inner child has another message for you in that pile. So if you are ready, get into a relaxed position, become aware of your entire body, starting with your feet, and work that awareness up in sections from the feet to the head. Then take a deep breath in through your nose for around 5 seconds, hold that breath for 3 seconds, and then exhale for 6 to 7 seconds. Then ask your guides, spirit, ancestors, the universe, or all of them to connect you to your higher self so you can hear from your inner child. So this is pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, pile number 4, and pile number 5. On pile number 1, we have titanium. On pile 2, we have aragonite. On pile 3, we have blue kyanite. On pile 4, we have prehnite. And on pile 5, we have hematite and quartz. All right, in pile number 1, welcome to your reading. So we are starting with your tarot cards, and then I'm going to be shuffling some additional oracle cards on camera, maybe even a few clarifiers if I actually need some help in the middle of your reading. But anyways, let's just get started to check out what your inner child needs to say, what it needs to heal. So yeah, let's get started. So actually though, pile 1, let me say this before I actually even look into your tarot cards. Right away, I got a dark visual of some of you feeling trapped or suffocated growing up, like you weren't allowed to have a different set of opinions or a different lifestyle. I'm also picking up some of you may have tried to leave home, even run away, or had left home at a very young age. Some of you grew up quite fast because your childhood was so suffocating and you really wanted or needed out of that environment. Like you needed to get away from that. So, you know, you needed more freedom to express yourself and to live your own life versus being judged for everything that you identified or resonated with. My pile 1s feel like they came from a conservative family, maybe like an old school family, very traditional with a lot of expectations placed on you. Like your your family already had planned your life out before you were born, and any sort of straying away from that plan was just like blasphemous to some of you guys as family or parents. So yeah, let's see what's going on here with your inner child. So this card right here to the left will be showing me what is disturbing the peace of your inner child. So let's look into that. Very first card that we have here is the Devil. So what the actual fuck, pile one? I knew it. Some of you guys were feeling trapped, just like I had mentioned. What's disturbing the peace of your inner child, and I say this with love, so don't get scared by me mentioning this, but very clearly many of you have like bloodlines connected all the way back to a witch or someone in witchcraft, someone that was vilified for their beliefs with this Devil card right here. And with you being born, it was supposed to be your ancestors' way of finally being free enough to express themselves and their gifts and their talents through you, which is why very many of you feel like the black sheep of the family, because that ancestor whose bloodline is connected to you was like the black sheep of that time or of their community. Like I said, it seems like they were vilified for their beliefs, the things that they believed in, the things that they connected to. So a lot of it was probably done in private or secret, their beliefs and their practices, things like that. And it's like the same sort of thing happened with you guys. This could even be some sort of like a past life sort of energy coming through here. But it also feels like it's connected to your blood. So this ancestor left a lot of gifts for you and for many others in your family, but others in your family were either too afraid to practice out in the open, or they never even connected the dots back to these innate spiritual gifts. You were very connected to these gifts from a young age. The thing, like, especially if you loved movies like dealing with witchcraft or the occult, or like scary horror movies and things like that, the things that used to freak people out or scare people used to be maybe drawn to as a kid. You may have loved movies like superhero movies. You may have rooted for like the villain in the movies, just like just kind of like you have this way of identifying with people that are seen in this vilified way, and not because you relate to evil, not because you relate to being problematic or chaotic or anything bad, but it's just that you have a different way of seeing things. You know, it feels like a lot of Uranus energy here. You just have you have a different way of seeing things. You're not intimidated by what is seen as negative or what is seen as bad or backwards or reprobated. Like you're not intimidated by that at all. If anything, you're intrigued by it and you want to learn a little bit more about it. So, or you kind of connect to it and say like, hey, like that's their perspective. That's the way they see things. So opinions don't really, it's like you have a thick skin to differences. You got a thick skin of differences. It doesn't shake you up or move you or freak you out in the way that it does other people. And so, you know, especially like I said, if you guys were attracted to witchcraft or things like that, like growing up in movies when it used to come up, you used to get very intrigued. Superheroes, things like that. What's that called? Supernatural sort of like fiction movies, and you were very connected to these gifts from a young age. The thing is, either you yourself may have been scared of these gifts and the visuals and images and experience that they conjured up for you, or other people in your family and community tried to scare you into submission by telling you that believing in certain practices is evil or wrong, or it makes you a bad person. So the conditioning that tried to trap your inner child was others trying to tell you that these sacred, beautiful gifts passed on to you through love and strength and purpose are evil or wrong. And this is the thing, you naturally connect to things like nature, animals, the occult, astrology, necromancy, mediumship, all of the 8th house, you know, astral traveling or projection may have come naturally to many of my pile ones, as well as lucid dreaming and even prophetic dreams. But someone around you either didn't believe you or told you that this was unnatural or wrong. They judged you and tried to tell you that these gifts were evil. It's basically the equivalent of someone trying to tell you your left arm is evil. Like these gifts are a part of you, you know? In the beginning, when the all created the universe, this was already laid out in a plan for you to incarnate during this generation and end up on this planet and at this reading. And to be the one to reconnect your bloodline to its lost heritage and beliefs. You just simply were not allowed to believe in what you what your soul connected to. So some of you, this had to do with sexuality as well, even experimenting with sexuality, not wanting to define it, rejecting certain gender norms, things like that. Your inner child, it's just the way that you identify is so fluid, and it's like you really don't want to be put in any sort of a box. And so this can spread out to other parts of your life as well. But yeah, your inner child needed to be free to find itself, to explore its own essence. For some of you, you're still a bachelor or bachelorette. Commitment may feel a bit like a prison to you. Being in a committed relationship or marriage, or being a parent, staying at a job for 20, 30 years, things like that just sort of feel like this long-term commitment. You might have it might have left a sour taste in your mouth, and that is stemming from your childhood. People trying to impose onto you the person that you need to be, the person that you should be, the person that you should be aspiring to become. And so for you, it is very important for you to create your own identity and to have enough space to do that, versus sort of just falling into this blueprint that's already been laid out for other people. You need and want to find your own way. That is what your soul craves from the inside out. So it's like, your inner child, like I was saying, it needed to be free to find itself and explore its own essence. But every time you embarked on this journey to self-discovery, people would tell you there's no need for that, or that's wrong, that's evil, you're supposed to be like this, like the rest of your family, or like the rest of your people. You had to be really strong and really fucking brave to break out of this. And if a part of you still feels somewhat trapped or constricted by these opinions, just know that this will not be forever, and you are destined to break out of this. This was always a part of the plan, Pile One, to make you second guess yourself, to make you have to fight and demand your own freedom and identity. For some reason, your soul chose this specific journey. It did not want to make things easy for itself in terms of reconnecting to these gifts and its one of its identities. So this usually happens when the soul is harboring extremely powerful gifts that it has not tapped into in a very long time. So the soul has to make its way back to tapping into these abilities. Just like it took time for your soul to develop these gifts, it takes time to reconnect to them when they have been lost to us. They're never actually like all the way lost to us, like we just can't get them back. We just have to reconnect to them. We have to go through that process of reconnecting to them. But that's what's been disturbing your inner child's peace, is this fear of being seen as a bad person for the things that speak to you and the gifts that were always a part of you. It's the shame of being who you are that others tried to put onto you. So let's see what it is that you need to heal your inner child. What does your inner child need right now? And so we have here the Seeker of Cups, otherwise known as the Page of Cups. It's also 10:10 right now on my clock. I just looked up and saw that. So that may be a significant number for you. So, location and solitude. Pile One, not in the sense of being physically alone. For some of you, that may be the prescription medicine to your soul. This may be what your inner child needs, but what I'm actually picking up intuitively is there needs to be separation in the cups that you are drinking from. The pages are very curious characters. They have a restless thirst for knowledge and understanding. How you heal your inner child is by locating your own cup of tea. You know the saying that I'm not everyone's cup of tea? You need to live by those words and not be ashamed of it, not feel pressured by that. Some of you have very heavy Virgo energy in your chart. Pisces is also coming through. Leo, Sagittarius is also coming through a bit, but and you don't have to have those placements in order for this message to apply to you. If the message resonates, that is literally all that matters. But I just like to mention what I'm picking up in case that helps some of you, in case you're like, oh wait, I do have a lot of Leo or Virgo going on. But it's been an adjustment trying to accept that people do not accept you for who you are. It's a very big part of your journey to come to peace with that, because your power is there. Your power was always in not fitting in. Your power was always in being the black sheep. Your power was always in being like excommunicated or rejected by the norm. You were never meant to fit into the norm. You fitting into the norm is what disempowers you. It's what snatches your power away like nothing else. This is why we have the Devil card here. The Devil card, if you know what that card looks like from the Rider-Waite-Coleman-Smith deck, it is two people in shackles, in chains, connected to the devil. And the devil is ruled by the sign Capricorn. Capricorn rules, in a sense, your career, profession, your status, your notoriety, the public, in a way, the way that you were received and perceived publicly. So, there's a lot that the devil just rules the material realm. the 3D plane. This is his playing field. And so when we are looking at that sort of energy here, this is definitely telling me that a lot of your journey has to do in rejecting the norm of the 3D physical realm with this devil card right here. It's all about rejecting that, rejecting the chains that people are trying to put you in, so that the way you are more digestible, that the way you are more, you're seen as more normal to society, more acceptable to society. For you, your journey is all about rejecting what is accepted by society. And so if that is a part of your journey, that's a very difficult thing, because naturally as humans, we're pack animals. It's all about companionship, camaraderie. And so to reject that, to have to reject that and walk your own path is quite difficult. And so, you know, for sure, you have a very difficult journey that you're on, pile one. It's all about accepting that people don't accept you sometimes for who you are, and having to come to peace with that, and not caring if someone loves you or hates you, supports you or rejects you, because you've got you and you've got your own cup. The Page of Cups is in search for the most perfect cup, the cup that fits him, the cup that has his and his only name on it. And so once the page discovers the location of this cup that fits him and him perfectly, he goes in search of it as the Knight of Cups. Your inner child does not need you to become the warrior knight just yet. It only needs you to ask for where this cup is. It only needs you to search for you. And you do this by following the breadcrumb trail that are your interests, exploring and experimenting with your own shadow, the parts of you that other people tried to reject. And that's the interesting thing about your pile. I don't feel like you ever rejected yourself because of others. I just sense you trying to hide your true self or suppress it for others. So that's what I'm saying about the difference between the page and the Knight of Cups. The page is here because your inner child is saying you don't have to become the knight and go searching that far for this cup. You never rejected you. You've just been suppressing you. And all you have to do is stop suppressing and allow your true self to float to the surface, and it will. You don't have to search, pile one. You don't have to explore or experience. Just give yourself permission to connect to what truly speaks to you without wondering if this fits in with who you're supposed to be. So this is very deep-seated conditioning that has to be pulled out at the root. For many of you, it's not even, you're not even concerned about what others think of you. It's like I said, you have to separate the cups that you're drinking. You've taken on the definition of what a good person is and who you're supposed to be by listening to other people. And so this is all about you being able to separate that and define what makes a good person to you. Define your own self and your own identity. And so the only way to do this is by you giving yourself permission to tap back into these gifts. Your inner child needs permission, and you heal the inner child by not suppressing your true self anymore. Okay, let's get a couple more oracle cards here just to see if there's any additional inner child messages that I may have missed, you guys. So let's see. Pile one. Inner child, message from your inner child, pile one. All right, and so this is the card that came out, and it says, you can do hard things. Wow, and it says, there are many things in this life that we feel we cannot or should not have to do, but we must be careful of what we place in these categories. What were we talking about your entire reading? This is all about you defining what you should do and shouldn't do. This is all about you finding yourself, your own identity. It says here, we must be careful of what we place in these categories, for maturity often lies on the other side. Take time today to think upon the beliefs that might be holding you back. Are you putting yourself in a box by what you cannot or should not have to do? Pile one, I'm so done with you right now. This is everything that we were talking about. I'm going to look underneath the deck of the cards that I just shuffled to see a hidden message that your inner child really needs you to understand right now. But this is exactly everything that I've just been talking about, your entire reading. Underneath the deck here, we have breathe in. Our breath responds to what we are feeling and experiencing throughout our day. Practice taking deep, full breaths at a normal pace. Once you have a rhythm, breathe at this pace as you go about your day, checking in on yourself periodically. Deep breathing can help us navigate stressful events, bring relaxation and peace. So for some of you, this is really all about pacing. it's really important for you to pace. That's what I'm picking up from this card here. A hidden message from your inner child is it's all about pacing. You don't have to go wild right now and try to like define yourself. Like, you know, not saying that this is happening for you guys, but you know those stories of like kids that finally they go to college and they just lose their shit. They go wild. You know, they start like binging on all this freedom. This is all about you pacing yourself when it comes to your freedom and when it comes to you experimenting and exploring, pile one. That's the way you can gradually develop the person that truly speaks to you. Okay, and let's get one final message here from the Great Mother is set for my pile ones. Let's see what the Great Mother has to say. Let's see. All right, and it says here, ancient power mysteries. Hear the rattle of Isis playing. So I'm just going to read the little paragraph out of the book from Mother Aset to see what she wants to say to her children. And Mother Aset is also known as the Egyptian goddess Isis. I just call her by her true or original name. So give me a second, you guys. Okay, and what it says about this card here is it says, the rattle of Isis, the sistrum, is playing in the hand of the goddess now. Can you sense it with your inner hearing? Its vibration reaches through your crown chakra and enters your body, initiating you into great ancient power mysteries of sound, creativity, and healing. I told you guys are connected to some sort of ancient gifts here. And this is a time when words and music will become increasingly important on your spiritual path and healing journey. So what's coming up for me is like what this card is talking about is a lot of sound, because a human, that's all we are, is vibration. Everything is vibration. Everything is moving in motion. And so we can use sound. We could, because sound is vibration. Music is vibration. That's what a rhythm is. And so we can use music. We can use vibration to actually heal a lot of our bodies. The crown chakra came up here, so you guys may be focusing right now on healing your crown chakra, activating it, aligning it, really utilizing it. Or at this time, you guys may be receiving a lot of messages from your higher self. And so that is another indicator right here that your inner child is really working to heal something, is if you notice yourself being very drawn to music, to sound therapy, sound healing, sound baths. If you are clairaudient and hearing a lot of messages right now, this is just another indicator that your inner child is really working to speak to you at the moment. And so your inner child may speak to you through a lot of clairaudient messages, sending you a lot of messages through music, sound, lyrics. Automatic writing may be another thing for you guys. And just music in general may be very healing for you right now, that your inner child wants to point out. And also the Great Mother is set. So this is all that I'm seeing for you guys, pile one. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me take this time to thank your beautiful guides, my beautiful guides, our higher self, amazing spirit itself, your inner child, and the Great Mother is set for coming through and delivering these messages. Hopefully you all come back to visit sometime soon, but until next time, please stay safe, healthy, blessed. I love you guys so much, and keep conquering the world. Bye, you guys. All right, pile number 2, welcome to your reading. So we are starting with your tarot cards, and then I'm going to be shuffling some additional oracle cards on camera, maybe even a few clarifiers if I need some clarification. But yeah, so we're going to be checking into your inner child's energy, what they are feeling, what they need you to know, what they need you to do to maybe help heal some things that your inner child may still be going through or working through or holding on to. Okay, so this card all the way over here to the left will be showing me what it is that is disturbing the peace of your inner child, and this card to the right will be showing me how we heal your inner child. Okay, so before we even get started with your tarot cards, pile 2, there's a message coming through, and I believe it's stemming from while I was shuffling these tarot cards for your pile. I had a very hard time shuffling your cards without them wanting to fly everywhere. So immediately that triggered a message coming through. I don't know if some of you when you were younger got diagnosed with something like ADD or ADHD. Teachers may have given you a very hard time or thought you were too hyper, energetic, or problematic. You talked too much. You know, you were very disorderly. You know, that may have been something that they complained about quite a bit. If your parents had you on medication when you were younger to make you more subdued or submissive, less you and more robotic almost, your inner child is coming through and is saying already there was nothing ever wrong with you. Very specific message, but for some of you, that medication that they had you on when you were younger to make you more cooperative was like a major turning point for some of you for some reason. Hopefully the cards will tell me a little bit more about that, but it's like it really disturbed you is what I'm picking up. Something about that medicine that some of you can't get over. The way it made you feel or act, I don't know, the way it changed you. It's like, it's something here where you guys are are, I don't know, that medicine did something. I don't know if it caused a chemical imbalance, maybe the symptoms, not symptoms, but like the side effects of the medication may have really disturbed you physically. I'm not sure, but guys, I'm so sorry. There was a knock on a neighbor's door. My dog went crazy. I thought it was my door. I knocked over the camera, so the camera placement may look a little bit different, but that was my fault. Okay, now that I'm back. Yeah, let's check out what is disturbing the peace of your inner child, pile 1. And so the very first card that we have here is the Seeker of Wands, otherwise known as the Page of Wands in reverse. All right. So a part of your development was definitely impaired, pile 2. Some part of your development was cut short, but why? Because this page is very young, you know, youthful, inquisitive energy. All the pages are, but especially the Page of Wands. And it lives to learn and explore. It's like a child absorbing its surrounding from that. And this Page of Wands is especially curious about everything that speaks to it, because that's what the Suit of Wands represents. It represents this fire or spark that is ignited within us when we come across a person, place, or thing that speaks to our spirit, that speaks to our journey in this incarnation. So it's like when we find a puzzle piece that fits this current incarnation, we get that spark, we get that flame of resonance that gets ignited. That's what the Suit of Wands represents, right? And we'll be talking about that a lot more in the Patreon, my Patreon account that we're setting up, when we dive into the Suit of Wands and every single card in the Suit of Wands. But for sure, that's exactly what the Wands speaks to. So the Wands is all about triggering or activating our spirit to help us rediscover our essence in this lifetime. It's that moment of resonance or interest or attraction, very fiery energy. So the Page of Wands in reverse says at a certain point, you lost connection or communication with that spark, that feeling. I think this might have been what I was picking up earlier, which was you not being able to get over how maybe one sort of medication, or maybe it was like therapy, behavioral therapy affected you. It's like it interrupted your connection. And oh, that's why your inner child may have given me that message and said that there was nothing ever wrong with you. Okay. This is definitely starting to come together now. Do some of you as well play music or make music? Because I just saw someone playing a guitar. Maybe that was like an electric guitar, like rock and roll, very Jimi Hendrix style. Oh my God, I'm obsessed with Jimi Hendrix. That was just the visual that I got. It's like that Jimi Hendrix type of guitar. I don't know what those guitars are called, but I saw it briefly and I don't know why. So I'll leave that there for whoever it is meant for. That could have also been a metaphor though for some of you in this pile, that when you were younger, you were extremely vibrant, lively, and then something happened that seems like medication or some form of behavioral therapy that came through and changed you. Some of you are quite angry about that. And this is something that your inner child is still healing or working through or holding on to. And this could have been military school. Maybe you joined the military at a young age and it changed you, making you more serious and a little less you. But you were so different after this event. But this is what's disturbing the peace of your inner child, is the loss of that connection to your own flame, your own spark. A page does not stop its pursuit of knowledge for anything unless it is forced or interrupted by something domineering. Your Page of Wands in reverse says, I was forced to stop being me or to stop acting this way. This could have also been a very strict household, very strict parents. It could have been a step parent that came into the picture and was very, very strict. This could have been foster parents that came into the picture and was extremely strict. This could have even been some of you getting into some sort of juvenile trouble at a young age, and sort of the law coming down on you at a young age and changing the course of things for you. Your Page of Wands in reverse says, I was forced to stop being me. And so, military just keeps coming up. Some of you had military parents. Maybe you went to military school, one of those strict schools to change your behavior. Some of you are just naturally rebellious, not because you're trying to be, but you just always have had an energy that does not like to be contained. And your childhood seems to have been surrounded by people that wanted to get control over you. I keep picking up as well Sagittarius energy. Some of you have a Sagittarius moon or fire sign sort of moon, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. or your natal Mercury is in a fire sign. I just keep getting like this very hyperactive sort of spirit or energy, this bright flame within some of you guys. Like my nephew, he is just such an amazing kid. He's so hyper. He's the funniest kid I've ever met in my entire life. And I remember like years ago being like, he just seems like such a Sagittarius moon. And I looked into his chart and lo and behold, he was definitely a Sagittarius moon. But that is definitely the energy that I'm feeling here. Is just very vibrant, lively, high vibe, fun to be around, charismatic, laughing all the time, joking all the time. That's just your energy. Beautiful energy. And something about it got suppressed. Or someone really tried to suppress it. There was like a power struggle here for sure. Somebody just wanting to almost dominate you and get you in check, get you in shape. Like, oh, I can get them in check. And there's something about that your inner child is still holding on to, or you guys may still be upset about it. But the thing that's disturbing your inner child's peace is the fact that you were made perfect and to be the way that you are naturally. The way that you are organically is perfect. You were meant to be a vibrant, high energy person because it's who you need to be for your purpose to be completed. That's the thing. Our personality, which is our birth chart, was uniquely constructed. The second that you came out of your mother's womb, those energies in the stars, they imprinted into your being, into your physical being. And it was in alignment with your soul's plan for this incarnation here. So this personality, this birth chart, this natal chart that was uniquely constructed just for you, was constructed that way to help complement your purpose and journey here. So when you involve things like maybe drugs, substances, medication, behavioral therapy, there's a deeper concern here of how does that translate into your life's mission here? And I know like school and stuff like that, they don't focus on a kid's purpose, which I wish that they did, because there's so many kids that are lost because they feel like they're forced to just, follow some, one sort of road when it comes to school and arithmetics and maths and sciences and things like that. But there's so many other avenues. And so it's like when a kid is only given these few options, it's like, well, that doesn't work for me. You know what happens when that doesn't work for someone? And everyone learns differently. It doesn't mean that anybody's ever stupid. It doesn't mean that anyone's slow. It doesn't mean that. It just means that everyone learns differently. And I'm so happy that I had a mom who was a teacher for decades. She just retired actually last year. But I'm so glad that I had parents that were like, it's okay for you to not learn the way that everyone else in your classroom learns. If you need help, let us know. We'll find you a tutor. We'll find you somebody that can sort of conform to the way that your brain works, essentially, And so if more kids had that, they would excel. But it's because that the system, this educational system, which is fucked, at least here in America, the public school system, they try to force kids to all learn the same. And when they don't fall into that line, they like to label them as, oh, well, something's mentally wrong with you. You're a problematic person. You're disruptive. You got ADD or ADHD, which, that's something else. It's a little bit different. But they try to label that as problematic when it's not problematic. Just because somebody has different energetic levels, that's crazy to me that it's labeled that way. So yeah, I don't know. That's just really coming up for me. School may have been a really big turning point for you. In terms of people trying to say there's something wrong with you because your brain works differently from other people or you have too much energy. So for sure, this part of your childhood was necessary for many of you so that you wouldn't make the same choices though with your own children if you choose to have any. Let's see how to heal your inner child, what your inner child needs right now from you. And we have the card here. Look at this. Look at this beautiful card. We have Judgment. I'm obsessed with this card in this deck. It is absolutely beautiful. Wow. There's something very liberating about this. It's so liberating. This is so liberating. This Judgment card, it just feels like 1,000,000 pounds being lifted off of me. Seeker of Wands looks like something was put onto you. Like I said, someone trying to suppress you, someone trying to dominate you. And then Judgment just looks like this release. It's a very different sort of switch up in energy. So this is the card of resurrection, judgment. In the Rider-Waite-Smith version, this card shows the Archangel Michael blowing a trumpet and people emerging from their graves for that final judgment. So take the opportunity, pile 2. Many of you have recently been approached or have attempted to get back into your passions with this Page of Wands in reverse right here, or you're going to run into that opportunity to get back into the hobbies that speak to you on a soul level. This is going to resurrect your inner child and reconnect you to a life of passion where you are alive again. You are that young, youthful energy again. Many of you are late bloomers, and it's going to take time for you to decondition because of certain techniques that may have been used to get you under control. You need to revisit this moment or event or a method that was used to change you. Some of you as well have an older individual, could be a grandparent or a family friend or someone that's older, that asks you from time to time, like, hey, whatever happened to that music that you used to work on? Or why don't you play that guitar anymore? For example, whatever it is that you used to do in the past, it could have been like painting or drawing or writing or dancing or whatever it is, you know. There's like somebody around some of you that seems to be older that asks you, like, why did you stop drawing? Why did you stop painting? Why did you stop dancing? Are you ever going to get back into that? You were so good at that. You know, why didn't you ever pursue that? So there's someone around some of you that brings us up with this judgment card right here in a way to say, get back to that. If there's someone around you that says this, it's actually a divine nudge from the universe, your higher self and your spiritual team, even your ancestors. What the fuck was that? I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know if you heard that at all. The second I said your ancestors, I don't know if you got, I hope my mic picked that up. That was weird. It was like like that. I don't know what that was. The second I mentioned your ancestors, it was like something blew into my ear. That was crazy. Oh my God. I'm so glad I'm in a space now where I am mentally okay with this shit, because 3 years ago I would have passed out. I promise you that much. I would have passed out. I don't know what that was, but it was close. Okay, I hear you. All right, whatever that was. What was I saying? It's like a divine nudge. Holy. Yeah, it's like a divine nudge from your spiritual team to get back into that. So yeah, there's definitely an invitation coming, if it has not already, to my pile 2s. And it will come at a time where life seems sort of like it's on autopilot, you know, just going with the motions. And this invitation will reignite that spark with this Page of Wands, and in a way sort of resurrect you with this judgment card right here. So you heal your inner child by accepting that invitation. It'll come in a very casual way, you know, but your inner child is begging you to start redeveloping these passions, pile 2. So for instance, let's say that you used to play that guitar. Just using this as an example, it doesn't have to apply to you, but you know, just using as an example. Let's say you used to play the guitar, you haven't picked up a guitar in years, and one of your friends, one of your old high school friends or something, hits you up and goes, hey, do you still play that guitar? Do you still have your guitar? I'm trying to do this, or I'm trying to make that. You know, could you come over and bring your guitar and we set something up real quick? And that just sort of gets you back into something. It's very casual the way that this happens for you. But this is another way that you can easily heal your inner child. So yeah, you know, your inner child is really begging you to get back into these passions. Your passion is your purpose. So start redeveloping these purposes. Your passion is your purpose. It is also your GPS in this life, and it is pointing the way towards your North Node. In tropical astrology, it's all about pursuing the North Node, not actually reaching it, because it's not ever meant to be achieved in one lifetime. It's just used as a marker, a way to say, hey, your purpose is this way. Your peace is this way. Your contentment is this way. Your potential is this way. There's another chance coming to you, if it has not already, to get back into redeveloping your passions. This judgment card wants you to live every day like it's your last day as well, and to live this incarnation just like it's your last one. Take full advantage of this life. This is why you came here with so much energy, pile 2, because you were supposed to take this life, this incarnation, by the balls. That's what this incarnation was about for you guys. You may have been suppressed in a past life or something like that. And so that is why it sort of carried over into your childhood, where you were sort of suppressed in your childhood. But this incarnation, it's all about breaking out of that with this judgment card. It's all about liberating yourself. liberating yourself with this Judgment card right here. Live every day like it's your last. As a child, you came here ready to conquer and see and do so much. It's about getting back to that place. Let's get a couple of cards here from your inner child. Any additional messages that I may have missed. Anything that your inner child may want to say. There's a pile 2 message from your inner child. Okay, so this is the card that came out, and it says go inward. So your inner child's message is take time today to meet with your inner child. Find a comfortable spot, close your eyes, and let your awareness go inward. Feel for the place within you that draws you in and allow for your inner child to come to you there. Let them be as they are, embracing them, listening to them, and providing them with unconditional love. So this is all about going inwards, pile 1. That's something that your inner child really wants to get across to you. Let's see, underneath the deck, a hidden message from your inner child is let it come forth. And it says repressed emotions can subconsciously fuel many of our behaviors and interactions within the world. And so it is good to explore these when we can. Find a place that feels safe and begin by asking yourself if there is anything that needs to be spoken out aloud and released. Like we were taught. Oh, hell no. Look at this. It says observe what comes forth without judgment. We got the Judgment card right here. Like I was talking about, this is all about release. And it says, begin by asking yourself if there is anything that needs to be spoken aloud and released. This is all about going inward. Like I said, many of you guys, you need to travel back to that place that you may feel like changed you or suppressed you. You need to travel back to that place, go inward, and release it. Very, very important for my pile 2s to do that. Go within and release that. Let's get one final message here from the Great Mother of Set. Because whether or not you work with her as an energy, and the Great Mother of Set is also known as the Egyptian goddess Isis. I just call her by her original Commission name. But whether you work with her energy or not, whether you believe in her energy or not, she is a mother to all. And so let's get, ooh, okay. She really wanted to point this card out. Look at this. Look at that. Rising sun, the divine solar child reborn. You guys actually have, I'm just going to tell your pile this, don't tell anyone else. But I actually have a reading that I'm working on directly after this reading, after I finish this reading, that will be coming out in a few days, where it is all about your solar return, what you can expect with your solar return this year. And so I kind of feel like for my pile 2s, there's definitely a message for you in that new reading that will be coming out directly after this one. Yeah, around Monday. So yeah, it says rising sun, the divine solar child reborn. So like we were talking about, it says the divine solar child reborn. Your inner child was suppressed, and it says the divine solar child reborn. Like we were talking about with the Judgment card, resurrection. This is all about your inner child coming back to life. And you living through your inner child. Some people have to live with their inner child. For you, pile 2, it's all about living through your inner child, or your inner child living through you, through your vessel. So let me read the message from the Mother of Set to you guys. And the divine solar child reborn is a call to the Neter Heru, otherwise known as Horus, which is the child of a Set, aka Isis. It says a dark phase and struggle is over. A new phase is upon you, one of hope, glory, light, and triumph. It is one through boldness and persistence. Even when you felt like giving up, you chose to stay strong, to surrender to the divine, and continue with the path. You have been through much. You have been through so much, and now victory is upon you, beloved, for the divine solar child, a new consciousness within you is born. So this is a new you being born, and it is so much more in connection to who you were when you first got here to this incarnation, to this planet. And it's really beautiful. Like I said, there's a huge liberation happening with my pile 2s. And as you can see here, I'm just now realizing this, she has butterfly wings on her. So this is just like you coming out of your cocoon. This is your inner child being released, breaking free, being liberated, like this Judgment card down here, which is really beautiful. So let it come forth like it says in this card, and allow it to happen. But this is all that I'm seeing, pile 2. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let me take this time to thank your beautiful guides, my beautiful guides, our higher self, amazing spirit, your inner child, and of course the great mother Set for coming through and delivering these messages today. Hopefully you all come back to visit sometime soon. But until next time, you guys, please stay safe, healthy, blessed. I love you guys so, so much, and keep conquering the world. Bye, you guys. All right, pile number 3, welcome to your reading. So we are starting with your tarot cards, and then I'm going to be shuffling some additional oracle cards on camera. I'll pull a few clarifiers if I need clarification along the way. So we're just going to be hearing from your inner child today, figuring out what it is that's been disturbing its inner peace, anything that the inner child has been holding on to, trying to work through, trying to heal, trying to get through. We're going to be looking at that today. So this card to the left will be showing me what is disturbing the peace of your inner child, and this card to the right will be showing me how to heal that disturbance. Let's get started. The very first card that we have here, pile 3, is the 10 of Swords. Watch out for your third eye opening sometime soon, pile 3 as well. Especially if you've been feeling any sort of pressure around your forehead, if you've been dealing with headaches lately, very vivid dreams, intense dreams, trouble sleeping. It's your third eye really trying to force itself open. I don't know why it's going through such a difficult struggle, but that's just something that I'm picking up right now. But getting to what is disturbing the peace of your inner child, pile 3. Did you ever hear anyone tell you, yes, you can be whatever you want to be? Did you have anyone around you encouraging you, pushing you, supporting you, telling you that you can beat any odds that come against you? Because what I'm seeing here is some of my pile 3s being surrounded by people that are I can't sort of people. Or maybe they were that type of person, the I can't sort of person, or this isn't possible sort of people. I won't say pessimistic because they genuinely just lack the understanding or idea that anything is truly possible. And if something is not possible, it's because the person meant to do it has not been born yet. So, you know, see these swords stabbing through the palms of this card right here. You see that? This is a statement right here and a very big one. It's saying my mind and my thoughts impact my hands. Let me hold this up. These swords stabbing through these hands right here is a very big statement. It's saying my mind impacts my hands. I'm only able to do what my mind agrees that I can do. The greatest disturbance to your inner child's peace is this inherited condition of if something doesn't look or seem possible, then it just simply isn't. This is all about being fooled by reality because I've been dealt a certain hand of cards, and that means that this is off limits or out of reach for me or people like me. When you shift the mind, pile 3, reality shifts instantaneously. That's the thing. Physical life is linear. Physical life is linear. There's yesterday, today, and tomorrow. When wanting to manipulate or change physical reality, there is a process that has to unfold first, a linear process, because we are a part of this realm, so we abide by the laws of this realm. But the mind or the conscious is tapped into the metaphysical, the realm that exists outside of this material reality. So the consciousness is plugged into the realm that created this physical plane. And because of that, you've been trying to suppress certain dreams and ideas because reality does not add up for you. Oh, that's why I got the message that your inner eye is really trying to force itself open. The third eye is what envisions things before they even come, before they arrive. The third eye is what imagines things before it's ever a part of reality, before it ever comes to fruition. So the third eye, if the third eye is closed, it's very difficult to dream. It's very difficult to be able to see a different reality because that third eye is closed. In order for us to be able to see beyond this physical reality, that third eye has to be open. And I'm not just talking about the realm beyond this physical reality, like where, you know, ghosts and entities and spirits are. I'm talking about a reality that doesn't exist yet. I'm talking about your future. So if there's anything that you want to change about your life, your third eye has to be open and it has to be able to see that this is a possible future because the brain does not know what reality is. It doesn't know. The brain is listening to you and what you deem as possible or real. So there's a lot here about the shifting that. You've been trying to suppress dreams and ideas because the reality does not add up for you. It's hard for you to see what can be, or it's difficult to see potential and to believe in it. The inner child is very idealistic, right? But not realistic. So kids have these crazy, wild ideas and beliefs. They think that they're an astronaut one day and they're a damn bald eagle the next day, you know? And so a kid's mind plays around with reality. A kid is not at all threatened by physical reality. That's what makes kids so incredible, is the fact that they can dream so far and wide. Even though what they're seeing around them is what they're seeing around them, they can look past all that and they can make any sort of environment, you know? So that's the thing that a lot of us have lost touch with. The older that we get sort of disconnected from that ability to dream and to see through that third eye. And so us using the imagination, us dreaming of goals in the future is what also helps to open your third eye. It's not just things like meditation and making sure that you're drinking fluoride-free water and using fluoride-free toothpaste. You know, it even extends to just simple things like, could you see yourself living in that house? Could you see yourself with that car? Could you see yourself with that job? Could you see yourself in a happy marriage or home or partnership or family? You know, it's all about being able to envision. And if you cannot envision, if you cannot imagine, your third eye is struggling. Huge indicator that the third eye is definitely struggling if it's hard for you to dream up a reality that's not here yet. A kid's mind plays around with reality, like I was saying, and what we are is what we attract. So pile 3, you are unconsciously attracting experiences and people that reinforce this Ten of Swords energy right here. Many of you have been involved in partnerships, relationships, and all types of exchanges with people on this same Ten of Swords frequency. So if you grew up around the type of talk like you cannot do this or you cannot do that, that's the atmosphere that you are unconsciously projecting and creating. And because of that, it attracts other people that talk, think, and feel just as doubtful. Some of you as well, you've always been skeptical about having too much faith because it translates to you as possible disappointment. But at some point, some of my pile 3s, you went for it. Maybe you put yourself out there, but you got let down. And so you've been on a Suit of Swords journey the last few years. For others of you, the Suit of Swords has been a journey that you've been on your entire life, where you're learning how to develop this faith while being within this reality. So you may have had a lot of air energy in your chart. Your 8th, 9th, 3rd, or 2nd house may be ruled by air signs, Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini, or your Mercury, Venus, Saturn, or Uranus may be in an air sign in your chart. Again, that is Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini. But it's like you're on this journey to prove yourself wrong. But like I said, that journey is not possible because you're the one approving or denying what you can believe in. How can you prove yourself wrong if you are shrouded in doubt, pile 3? If you are setting out on a pursuit, for example, you want to get in shape, but you doubt that you can stick to an exercise or a diet plan, then how can you prove yourself wrong? The mind is the control center. And if you have signed on the dotted line that this is the only reality that I choose to see or believe in, then you won't be able to see other possibilities. Therefore, you won't be able to create other possible realities. You won't be able to prove anything to yourself other than what makes sense to a mind shrouded in doubt. In other words, you will reinforce this Ten of Swords energy. So it's the doubting that is stealing so much of your inner child's peace to the point that your inner child feels as though it's gradually dying. And that's the main thing disturbing the peace of your inner child. Let's check out how to heal it. We have here, we've got here Temperance, the card of healing. And I actually do want a clarifier for your Temperance card right here. Oops. We've got here the Six of Wands. This is saying that you guys heal with, you heal with success. You heal with effort. You heal with recognition. You guys are the ones that want recognition. You want things to work out when you try them. We have here the Queen of Wands. Look at all this wand energy. Then we have here Eight of Swords. The World card. Let me get one more. Flip this over. Five of Wands in reverse. All right. Underneath the deck was a Two of Wands. So I guess I'll leave that right here. I just wanted to pull a couple of cards around this Temperance because Temperance is a card of healing. But from what I'm seeing here, especially with all this wands action, look, we've got the Six of Wands, Queen of Wands, Two of Wands, Five of Wands in reverse. We've got the Eight of Swords here feeling a little bit trapped. We already knew that though with this Ten of Swords card right here. This is about mental trappings. And then we have the World card, trying to say that this is all about there's a journey that you're definitely on. Like I said, for some of you, you've been on a Suit of Swords journey. You started at the Eight of Swords and you're on your way to the King of Swords. This is an entire journey that you've been on the last few years, or it's a journey that you've been on your entire life. So this is all about playing, experimenting, trying things out. Temperance is the angel floating atop a lake and magically mixing two cups together. This angel is a master alchemist who ascended the ranks through practice. He just kept mixing things together, trying them out until this angel found the perfect concoction, something that worked. Your inner child needs space and room to try things out, especially with all these wands cards right here. It needs space and room to try things out, but it's feeling a bit trapped with this Eight of Swords and this Ten of Swords over here. The only thing trapping your ability to experiment and explore and play is your mind. Like we've been talking about your entire reading, pile 3. So it needs space to try things out, your inner child, but it can't because it's suffocated. As we were talking about, it's suffocated by these doubts and self-talk, which has manifested into beliefs and stagnancy, as you can see with this Eight of Swords right here. It is in the way of you succeeding at certain goals in your life with this Six of Wands and this Queen of Wands and this World card and this Two of Wands. And so, you know, it's interesting too. It's funny how we have hands on both of these cards as well. And there's swords sticking through these hands over here with this Ten of Wands. Let me just hold both of these up. As you guys can see, there's swords sticking through the hands of the Ten of Swords over here. And on these hands, where there were stab marks are now these sacred symbols. You guys see that? So it goes from these hands being stabbed, these hands being suppressed by the doubts of your mind, and then it goes to these hands which are free. These hands which are free, and they are wearing these sacred marks, these sacred symbols. And these symbols, these bruises and wounds show how much these hands had to go through to get to this place of transcendence. You have a lot to achieve in your life, pile 3, a lot. But so much of what you are able to achieve and succeed at is going to be greatly impacted by your doubts. You have a lot to achieve, but you give your brain too much leniency and control and too much credit over your life. Your hands are almost like a metaphor for what we were talking about earlier, like how your thoughts keep your hands from trying and doing things. You are too weighed down by low-level thoughts and doubts. Fears are okay as long as you don't get stopped by them. Doubts are natural as long as you don't get stopped by them. Anxiety is a part of the human experience as long as what? You don't get stopped by it. You heal your inner child by reframing your mind and your self-talk. Temperance also talks about rhythm. This process of mixing back and forth until you get it right. So you free your inner child from this gradual death by practicing these habits regularly. Start small. Don't try to manifest $1 million, for instance, because your faith isn't at that level just yet, and that's fine. Faith takes practice. Faith is an art. We come here with believing in, like kids do. They think they're an astronaut one day and a dinosaur the next day, you know, but it gets sort of that faith, that ability to believe in anything and everything definitely can get overshadowed by the world around us and society and reality. So it's an art. Believing is an art, and it takes deconditioning our mind in order to believe in a reality that we don't have access to yet. This is about practice. So instead, try to manifest $20 instead of applying to that dream job. Start training for the position so you feel more qualified. Hack your brain so your hands are more functional, pile 3. Very important. Let's get a couple of additional messages. Let me move these clarifiers out the way. But let me get a couple of additional messages from your inner child just to see if there's any sort of messages that I may have missed that your inner child wants to say. So pile 3, let's hear from your inner child. Okay. Came out fast, and it says here, it says, today is the day. Beautiful card. And it says, there is something that you've been putting off and now is the time to do it. What were we talking about? You guys have a lot to achieve, and now is the time to do it. Today is the day. Let today be the day. Let go of those doubts. These doubts are keeping you guys from progress, from moving, from trying, from succeeding. We had the Six of Wands show up for you. That's the card of success. So it says here, it may seem overwhelming, but beyond the horizon waits something more wonderful than you can know in these present moments. Do not be afraid. No one is ever truly ready at their first steps. It is not perfection that we seek, but a life lived fully. You guys, what did I say to you? I told you guys, the fear is okay, the doubts are okay, the anxiety is okay, as long as you don't allow it to stop you. It says no one is truly ever ready at their first steps. Don't be afraid. It's not perfection. It's not about perfection. It's about living a life, fully living your life. And a hidden message from your inner child underneath the deck, it says you are worthy. Look at that. Oh my God. It says it is now time to practice speaking the words you have always longed to hear to yourself. Didn't I start your reading out asking you guys if anybody ever asked you or told you you can do this, you can achieve that? Look, your inner child is saying, no, you say that to yourself. Look at what it said. I'm going to read this again. It says it is now time to practice speaking the words you have always longed to hear to yourself. Find a mirror and get comfortable. Look deep into your eyes and proceed to give yourself what you wish others had given you. Particularly as a child, it may feel awkward, but stick with it as there is much healing in this practice. Yes, make it a rhythm, make it a habit where you keep telling yourself you can do this. I can beat these odds. I can make the impossible happen. I can make miracles happen. Like I said earlier in your reading, that was the first thing that came out of my mouth was, do you guys have anyone encouraging you? Did you ever hear anyone tell you that you can do this, you can do that? Well, your inner child says, that's fine. You tell it to yourself. Let's get one final message here from the Great Mother of Set, otherwise known as the Egyptian goddess Isis. But whether or not you work with her energy, believe in her energy, she's a mother to everyone. She's a mother to all. So let's see what she has to say to her child, her children, her babies. Whether you see her as a mother energy or not, she sees you as a child energy of hers. Okay, so let's see. And it says here, a goddess of 10,000 names. Isis, endless emanations of the priestess. Okay, so I'm going to be reading out of the book what her message is to you. So give me a second. Okay, and it says here, Isis, with many names, forms, associations, and expressions, is referred to as the goddess of 10,000 names. A name holds power. It defines and energizes, or it limits. The names, faces, and roles that you play are just one part of your being, yet you exist beyond them. Guys, it says, beloved initiate, as a vast being, you are currently realizing that you are not limited by previous identities that you held. Instead, you are becoming more of your whole self. Enjoy the uncovering of even more of you. Like I just said, I'm going to read that sentence one more time. You are currently realizing that you are not limited by previous identities that you held. Identities can also be words, the way that you were talking to yourself, as it said in your other two oracle cards over here. It says here, goddess of 10,000 names. What is a name? A name is a label. A name is it's a word of power. It's a sound of power. That's what a name is, just like words. Words hold power, which is why in spirituality, you'll hear a lot of people say, don't use certain words, you know? One word that I stopped using months ago was expensive. I know it sounds like a very simple thing, right? But the moment that I stopped using that word, things stopped being expensive. I know that sounds so just basic, but you know, like words, they do hold power. And I'm not going to say that they control all of our lives, because the same word expensive in English doesn't exist to a different person speaking a different language, right? So it's like, how could that word hold a power? It's not about the word. It's about the energy that we put into those words, because there's so many different languages. So we can't say that the word expensive also applies to somebody that speaks, you know, Japanese, because that's not going to be a word over there in the same language as English. So, you know, this is all about words of power. Like we were talking about with these doubts. These doubts have had so much power over you guys that it has kept you from moving. And what it said with this card right here is you are realizing that you are not under the control of these identities and these powerful words anymore. But now you are making your own, you are healing from that. You're learning how to mix these powerful words. You're learning how to mix these powerful identities that you identify with and subscribe to. And you're learning how to find your own concoction where it's like, okay, you know what? I feel this way or I feel that way. I believe in this and I believe in that. And this is why I'm able to make these things happen. Because now I'm not just saying that, oh, I doubt that this can happen and I doubt that that can happen. But you're finding your own way to have more faith in yourself, to see yourself as more capable, more effective, more evolved. So there's a lot of, you're transcending right now your own doubts, your own mind. And that is why I got that, the first message for you guys, that your third eye is really trying to open. So there's going to be a lot of dreams popping up for you guys, like not actual dreams, but I mean like goals and stuff for the future. A lot of different visions that you have for your future where you're just like, you know what? I do want to go for that. I do want to reach for that. And you're not going to be afraid of disappointment or failure anymore. You're just going to go for it, because it speaks to your being and you know that you're capable because you're starting to transcend your doubts. So you're going to start going after really big, scary dreams pretty soon. Pile 3, get ready for it. And you're going to succeed. We pull the 6 of Wands with you for your clarifier. And this is another thing that's going to help heal your inner child, is the fact that you go after these things and you achieve them back to back to back. It's just about getting going. It's just about today being the day, realizing that you are worthy and going after that. Okay, so this is all that I'm saying for my pile 3s. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me take this time to thank your guides, my guides, our higher self, amazing spirit, for these messages. Of course, I want to thank your inner child for coming through, and as well as the great mother Set for delivering these messages today. Hopefully you guys come back to visit sometime soon. But until next time, you guys, please stay safe, healthy, blessed. I love you guys so, so much, and keep conquering the world. Bye, you guys. All right, pile 4, welcome to your reading. So we're starting through tarot cards, and then I'm going to be pulling some additional oracle cards on camera. I may even be pulling some additional clarifier cards if I need clarification, help translating what your inner child is trying to say. So yeah, we're going to be looking into this card on the left is going to be showing me what is disturbing your inner child currently, what it may be trying to work through or heal through or grow through right now. And then this card over here to the right will be showing us how you heal your inner child and help this process along. Okay, so let's get started. Very first card here for what is disturbing the peace of your inner child. We have the King of Swords in reverse. All right, pile 4. So this looks like a parent or a parent figure coming up immediately, and it looks like you didn't get the attention that you needed. There's a strange parent-child relationship here, or maybe no relationship at all. This led to a lot of almost attention seeking in a way, getting creative and trying to find ways to get that attention that you should have gotten without having to ask for it. It's like this lack of attention or the wrong attention seriously stunted your growth in some way, not physically, but more maybe mentally, with this being the King of Swords right here. And also emotionally is coming through in a sense of maturity. You may have been in a few relationships with people that mimicked this same setup from your childhood, where you were attracted to people that you had to do so much to get and keep their attention, so much to get their approval or their recognition. This led to a lot of regrets with some of you, where you look back and it's hard for you to be at peace with feeling like you had to beg and plead for someone's love or attention. I don't know why this is coming through right now. Oh God, when these messages come through, I never want to say them. I don't know why this is coming through. Trigger alert though. Oh my God, such a trigger alert. I'm seeing something with ED coming up, thinking that maybe if you looked differently, if you were a certain size or shape, that maybe a parent figure in your life would give you more attention or approve of you more. This could have also been a way too for you to try to control a lot of the emotions that you were feeling, or control the situation. This situation that felt very overwhelming for you. It was just it seemed to be a coping mechanism, a coping strategy, but it could have definitely developed into some sort of an eating disorder, you guys. So sorry, it's trigger alert. It just came up, and I know, like, when things like that come up, I have a hard time saying them, but I know I need to, just in case this is for someone specific, okay? It's just hard for some of you to be at peace with feeling like you had to beg and plead for someone's love or attention. It was almost dehumanizing. It was almost degrading, especially if it had to do with a parent, like where you had to It's like you gave birth to me and I have to ask you for your attention, you know? And so it's like the word attention just keeps coming through. I feel like this was a parent that either worked too much, maybe was in and out of relationships that they prioritized more than you, or this parent, again, another trigger alert, may have had addiction issues as well. And so it feels like a parent-child dynamic where maybe you were more mature than your actual parent in an emotional sense, because you were able to recognize at a young age, like, things aren't supposed to be like this. Why do I have to ask you to hang out with me? Or why do I have to call you or initiate interaction with you? It's like you had to chase your own parent because they were wrapped up in their own whatever they had going on, and they just weren't able to be present for some or a lot of your childhood. And with this being in reverse, it feels like your parent has had so many regrets about this, or like they try to be close to you now and you may be a little bit standoffish with them. But even though the roles may have reversed for some of you, this game is still being played of chase me and maybe you'll get my attention or affection or approval. But for some of you now, it's flipped in the way where your parent is chasing you and you're the one that's like, well, now the shoe's on the other foot. I'll get to decide if I give you attention. I'll get to decide if I approve of you or if I recognize you. It's almost like a little bit of unconscious get back, you know? And that's why I'm saying it's unconscious, because I don't feel like you guys are doing this on purpose. It's very unconscious, a lot of this behavior. It's just like, this is just what you're used to. You're used to there being this cat and mouse sort of chase. You know, someone's running away and the other one's chasing behind. And so this is just a natural environment for you. It feels very normal. This led to some of you as well definitely being overachievers or perfectionists or workaholics in your own life, and there's a big lack of balance in that scenario. And this is the main thing disturbing the peace of your inner child is I don't know how to not chase what I want. I don't know how to let it come to me naturally. Your inner child is saying it's not that you were not lovable. It's not that you weren't worthy of attention. All you wanted was a normal parent-to-kid relationship. Many of you as well saw one parent or more in a state of weakness, where maybe they suffered with depression or addiction. Maybe you saw them drink a lot, or maybe you saw them high or in and out of relationships. Oh, wow. What's coming through as well is some of you don't call your parent mom or dad, but you call them by their first name because so much respect has been lost. That's what this King of Swords is in reverse. This King of Swords in reverse is the loss of respect. The loss of somebody on that high pedestal, that not high horse, but the way that they should be seen in a more respected manner. They're not seen that way anymore. Yeah, they're not the King of Swords that they were supposed to be for you. That spell that most kids are under with their parents being superheroes to them, you never really got to experience that. They just weren't able to give you that emotional foundation or support system. And I'm really sorry about that. I didn't think that these inner child messages would hit me so strong. And I don't know why I underestimated the intensity of this reading, but wow. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry if that was the case for you guys. Let's check out how to heal your inner child. Let's look at that. Okay, and we have here, wow, you guys, look at this. We got the Queen of Swords. So we have the King of Swords in reverse and the Queen of Swords upright. Oh, big statement piece coming through. For me, anytime that the king and queen comes up, even if they're in different suits, to me, it feels more powerful than even a major arcana card. But for this to be the king and queen of the same suit, and one of them is in reverse and one of them is upright, this is an extremely powerful statement. Pile 4. You heal your inner child by being, I hate to put it like this, but you heal by being better than what your parent was to you. The Queen of Swords upright says, remain in your strength with grace. Do not hate weakness. For this is all about, being better and bigger than your parent or whoever that parental figure was. Being able to have enough capacity to not just forgive them, but understand that, damn, they made a mistake. And even though this affected my childhood, I had to sacrifice my childhood so they could learn a damn lesson. This is about you having enough capacity to accept that, embrace that, and almost even forgive it. This is a lot being asked of you, Pile 4. Oh my God, it's a lot being asked of you because you already had to ask things of your parents when you were a child, where it was just like, hey, can you hang out with me? Or Can you help me with my homework? Can you take me to this place? Can you take me to that place? Just being very disappointed by your parent. And even now at this age, as an adult, some of you may even have children of your own. You're being asked to have enough capacity to be able to look beyond that and forgive if you can. If you can. Don't force yourself to before your spirit is ready, before your heart is ready. But if you can, this is what this is definitely saying. You heal your inner child by being better than what your parent was. The Queen of Swords upright says, don't hate weakness. For example, if your parent was in and out of relationships and you saw that, then don't look down on that lifestyle or people that are in and out of relationships. Don't look at these types of behaviors and judge. This is about, and I'm going to say it like I just said it, and I know it triggers a lot of people, but this is definitely about forgiveness. This is about looking at your parent from a disengaged standpoint and seeing them with neutral eyes, accepting the fact that my parent was not a superhero, but I damn sure wish that they would have been, and making peace with the fact that you had a different relationship than what you deserved. This is about coming to peace with, hey, I deserved better. I didn't get better, but that's okay. But that's okay, because I got to live for me. And this queen is here standing upright and tall to say you are not that child anymore. You don't have to wonder where this parent is at, or why they're not giving you attention, why they're not showing up for you in the way that they should be, why they're not treating you in the way that they should be. You don't have to hate their mistakes or their weaknesses. You don't have to judge them for it. Instead, show them how to be strong by being strength itself. Some of you have been asked, some of you have been tasked, actually, with parenting your own parent. That was almost a part of your journey, and I can imagine how difficult and exhausting that is, because it is so not supposed to be that way. And don't let them keep you from having a family of your own. Granted, if you are at peace with that decision of not having a family of your own, then let it be, of course. But for those of you not having a family out of spite or fear or disgust of your own childhood, don't let their shortcomings rob you of that experience. But this queen is your inner child saying, let more of that feminine energy in. And that doesn't mean be a pushover and allow disrespect or mistreatment, but it means receive, embrace, and allow. Fill the parts of your life and being with what your parent never did or never could. This is about supplying yourself with the nutrients and substances that you needed and finding that resource internally, not externally. The masculine, the kings, they deal with the external. The feminine, the queens, deal with the internal. This Queen of Swords is your inner child saying you are enough and can be everything for yourself that they couldn't have been. You're enough to be there for you and your parent. This is about learning from their failures, not being disgusted or embarrassed or ashamed of them. And this is how you heal. Let's see, let's get an additional message from your inner child, pile 4. Anything that your inner child wants to say that I may have missed, or anything that your inner child may want to. Okay, let's see, pile 4. We have here, you are wanted. What are we talking about? You not getting that attention from your parents. And look, it says you are wanted. Oh my God, this is such a powerful deck. This is my first time using this deck. It finally showed up yesterday, but it's so powerful. It says here, the fear of abandonment. You guys, what was I talking about? The lack of attention. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm just blown away by these messages. It says the fear of abandonment can be a driving force in our lives. If we felt unwanted as a child, we can continue these patterns into adulthood through compulsively seeking or rejecting the attention of others. What was I saying about that cat and mouse chase me and you might get me sort of game? It mentions it right here. It says if we felt unwanted as a child, we can continue these patterns into adulthood through compulsively seeking or rejecting the attention of others. Take time to journal about what abandonment and rejection means to you. How can you show your inner child today that they are wanted? Like I said, your inner child is coming through today to say that you're enough. You're not that kid anymore. And a hidden message from your inner child underneath the deck here is practice freedom. Beautiful card. Jesus, that card is just breathtaking. Okay, it says here, judgments that have been placed upon us by ourselves or others can shackle us, stealing our joy and will to live. Take time to remove these judgments, writing down what you have believed in the past to be true. Do not let these judgments define you. Release personal mistakes and criticisms. Practicing forgiveness with yourself. Wow. This is definitely all about practicing forgiveness. So for some of you, you may have blamed yourself as a child for it to say that. Release personal mistakes and criticism, practicing forgiveness with yourself. Some of you may have made some sort of, when you were younger, you may have blamed yourself. Oh, shoot. Yeah, that message that I got earlier, the trigger message about some of you trying to take matters into your own hand, possibly even developing an ED of some sort. You trying to be a perfectionist, an overachiever, just to get that attention. You may have done a lot to get people's attention. You need to forgive yourself of that. If you felt as though you made some really big mistakes trying to get, I did say that earlier. Some of you may have regret the things that you did to try and get someone else's attention. Okay, so for sure, this card is saying, this hidden message from your inner child is saying, release those personal mistakes and criticism. Practice forgiveness with yourself. If you did anything back in the day, trying to get people's attention that was harmful to yourself, toxic to yourself, forgive yourself for that. Forgive yourself. You guys are learning forgiveness, not just with your parents, even in your childhood, but even within yourself for some of you that have intuitively selected pile 4. This is so powerful. Let's get one final message here from the Great Mother Set, also known as the Egyptian goddess Isis. And so whether you work with her energy or not, whether you acknowledge her energy or not, she is a mother to all, okay? And so I'm just looking into just a message from a divine mother and seeing what she has to say. Oops. Okay, so we have here, look at that, mother of life, nourishment of the golden grain mother. You guys definitely have some sort of mothering energy on your spiritual team. Some of you may even work with Isis herself. Hathor is coming up for some reason. Some of you guys may definitely work with Hathor. Let me see. I'm just going to read the paragraph out of the book for this Mother of Life card right here. Okay, and it says, pile 4, we can sometimes fall into existing and doing rather than truly living. We only know that this has happened when suddenly our life seems dry, depleted, filled with tasks, or it feels like we are stuck in a rut or habit that may have been comfortable, but is becoming stifling and suppressing. Aset, the Mother of Life, holds the ability to restore even the most numb, resistant, and difficult circumstances and people back into life. She calls to you now, seeking to bestow gifts of life upon you. Be bold and brave. Open your arms and receive. This is beautiful. So the Mother is set. She definitely may work very closely with some of you. You may not even be aware of it just yet, but she may be a divine mother for some of you that have intuitively picked this pile since the Mother of Life card came up, because Isis is greatly associated with the Ankh. The knot of a set, it looks a lot like the Ankh. But yeah, for sure, she's a very healing, nourishing energy. And she comes through and she replenishes life. She brings back life. She's known as the Mother of Life. That's why she's represented with the Ankh. The Ankh is just a symbol of eternal life, abundant life, everlasting life. And so the Mother is set. That's why she was known to resurrect her husband, Osiris, aka Osiris, who is his original name is Waizera Asur. But she brought him back to life after their brother Set killed his ass. And so she brought him back to life because she's the Mother of Life. So she's restoring life in a lot of places for you, pile 4. That is one of the biggest messages from her to you, is that she's coming through and helping you on a personal level to replenish life, to replenish laughter, to replenish this abundance, this really good nutrients and substance, the things that you were deficient in when it came to your childhood. Like I said, there was a lack of attention. You were very deficient in that area. The Mother Set is coming through to replenish that abundantly. And I believe that she's also coming through to help many of my pile 4s to practice this forgiveness with yourself, and as well as with other people, because the more she fills your cup, the more life she gives you, the easier it's going to be for you to release certain things that your inner child has been struggling with releasing. But your inner child is definitely ready to release this. Definitely ready to release this. And your inner child may have called on the Mother. Either the Mother is Set, the Mother Hathor, like I said, is coming up, or another divine mother as well. You may work with the Mother Mary. Any other sort of divine mother may be very close to you at this time right now, just helping you to overcome these things that have happened, and helping you to overcome your own mistakes and your parents' mistakes and not carry those things, which is so beautiful. But this is all that I'm seeing for my pile 4s. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let me take this time to thank your guides, my guides, our higher self, amazing spirit, of course, your inner child, and the Great Mother Set for coming through and delivering these messages today. Hopefully you all come back to visit sometime soon. But until next time, please stay safe, healthy, blessed. I love you guys so, so much, and keep conquering the world. Bye, guys. All right, pile number 5, welcome to your reading. So we are starting with your tarot cards, and then I'm going to also be pulling some additional oracle cards on camera here, maybe even a few clarifiers if I need some clarification from what it is that your inner child is trying to communicate to you. And so this card all the way over here to the left will be showing me what is disturbing the peace of your inner child, and this card to the right will be showing me how we heal your inner child, and whatever it is that your inner child may be working through, growing through, healing through, trying to understand or process right now. So let's get that message from your inner child, starting off with this card here. And so we have the Star. So pile 5, it seems like there was like a lack of role models, or like there was a lack of direction or answers. The Star comes directly after the Tower card, which is the card of destruction, chaos, surprises, divine intervention, but in a more destructive manner. It seems like you were exposed to problems, but not solutions as a kid. You may have watched adults and family members try to avoid or run away or escape their problems versus dealing with them head on, or they didn't have the means to deal with these issues head on. There may not have been a lot of structure in your childhood. Some of you, your parents had you young, or they had kids at a young age, and so there was not a lot of structure and direction. You may have moved around a lot, never staying in one place for quite long. This lack of stability, having to always improvise, think on your feet, or depend on others for a home or a vehicle or money or food or life lessons is what disturbed your inner child, because all you wanted as a kid was to not worry about if you were safe and secure. Some of my pile 5s may have grown up in a rough area or a neighborhood, but your childhood had a lot of anxiety, it seems, and you were constantly exposed to it, being a product of this environment. Point blank, period, pile 5. With the Star card right here, this is saying that you are a product of your environment, and your environment was not peaceful. That is why in the Rider-Waite-Coleman-Smith deck version of the Star card, she's seen as naked. Like I said, the Star card comes directly after the Tower card, this card of destruction, and she's a product of her environment. Everything was destroyed, which is why she is naked, which is why she has nothing. She has to start all over because she is a product of her environment, and her environment was destroyed. So this is definitely what the Star card is saying right here for sure. And the Star is a card that is only moments removed from the greatest collapse that she has ever faced in her life. And she doesn't know yet how to move forward or what to do. And so this tells me that your childhood may have been in an environment where you guys were barely getting by. And this was so difficult for your parents. They hated having you in this environment. They wanted so badly to have been able to give you better, but they came from a Tower moment themselves and did the absolute best that they could. A lot of my pile 5s are in a position where you want so badly to get your family or your parents out of this environment and give them more stability because of so many sacrifices that they had to make just to get by, or just to take care of you. Your inner child is disturbed by outside forces and circumstances. I'm not going to lie. A lot of this feels and seems to be systemic. So you may be a minority, or your parents may have been like first-generation immigrants. You may be yourself. Your parents may have been involved in like the legal system, maybe gotten in trouble with the law. You may have had grandparents that had to escape a country where there was a lot of fighting, a lot of war, a lot of death or corruption. This was the difference between life and death here. There's a very fine line that separated the Star from life and death. But it's these small gradual steps of every generation doing a little bit better. But my God, the things that your family or your parents or grandparents had to survive was no joke. And it's like the system didn't help at all. If anything, it seems like the system made things that much more difficult. Of you guys trying to escape a certain lifestyle, you guys trying to do better for yourself, the system did not make things easy. And you've been working to separate yourself and your family from that for a long time. My pile 5s just want to be successful. You just want to create a better life than the one that your parents had given you. And it's not out of spite. You want every generation to do better. And I don't see you guys holding this against your family, against your parents, because most of you realize it was a bigger system or operation working against them. They did the best that they could. But what disturbed your inner child's peace, pile 5, seems to be discrimination, the system, or other people looking down on you and your family because of where you guys came from or what you guys had to go through. And because your family was focused on survival and making ends meet and giving you the best chance that they could at a good life, they didn't have the means to spend on clothes or, you know, hair, makeup, cars, home, you know, like their essentials, the money, everything that was earned went to the essentials, food, bills, and an education. That's what I'm picking up here. It was just about survival. And so naturally, you weren't going to have an easy time fitting in with most of society that didn't come from where you came from. Okay, let's look at how to heal right here with this card. And we have here the Ace of Cups in reverse. I know you want to do so much for your parents, pile 5, or your family, and I see you creating the means to be able to do that. But with this Ace of Cups in reverse, this is actually saying, and this is quite odd, there's someone here actually saying, don't worry about us. We just want to see you happy and successful. They're like, if you're happy and stable, we're happy. Someone is trying to reject you or your offers so you don't worry about them. This could be your parents or your family saying, don't spend your money on us. Don't kill yourself working so hard to take care of us. Support us by supporting yourself. There's an extremely selfless energy or person here. I see you trying to offer help and them not wanting to take it, even though they may need it. You are extending yourself and they are saying no. They're rejecting you because they know where you all came from. And to see you in a stable and secure position is all they want. So some of you may be in college working towards that dream job. And this is the thing. So many of you beat the odds, and it's all because of these selfless people and family members that made sacrifices so you could have better. They don't even care about themselves. I'm telling you right now, pile 5, I see you guys achieving everything that you set out to do because you are fueled by a past many people did not have to endure. So your endurance is unmatched. Your motivation and determination is unlike anyone else's because you are not just doing this for you. You are not just going after these goals for you to flex on social media. You're not fueled by the surface level shit that most of the world is. You are fueled by sacrifice, pile 5. It's just beautiful seeing how your crew, your family, your people made sacrifices for each other so each person could have a little bit better than the last. And you carry that around with you in the pit of your stomach, in the pit of your soul. And this is why your success is guaranteed, because your fuel is genuine. Your fuel is genuine. Your fuel is sincere. It's innocent. It's pure. It's love. Your inner child doesn't need healing, pile 5, because it's not wounded. That's what this Ace of Cups in reverse is saying. It just has this ache or this deep need. It just has a lot of love to give back. It just wants to give back and do for others what has been done for you. It just wants to give to others what has been given to you. The universe is going to give you the means to do that for your loved ones, pile 5, no doubt about it, because this is too pure. It's not about validation, approval, none of it. You don't give a fuck about society. If society sees you as cool, as winning, as none of that matters to you. What matters to you is creating a better life for your family, for the family that came before you and the family yet to come. Especially if you have children, that's what you guys are fueled by. You're doing this for, you're not doing any of this for you. There's so much selfless energy in this family, in this community. None of this is about approval. It's just about, I've been given this gift and I just want to give it back, but your family won't take it back, as you can see with this Ace of Cups in reverse right here. You'll have a hard time turning these sacrifices into gifts and then giving them back, because your family or your loved ones are going to say no. They're going to say, we're fine. Even if they're not fine, they're going to say, we're fine. We did this for you to have better. And it's enough for them. It's so fulfilling for them just to see you achieving things in life. It's just incredible. They just love seeing. That's literally all they need to see, is you happy and thriving and succeeding. That's it. They don't want you to pay them back at all. And and so much of you is like, I'm doing all this so I can pay you back, but they don't want it. Let's get some additional messages from your inner child. Anything that I may not have picked up on that your inner child wants to say. Oops. Okay, and it says here, message from your inner child. It says emotions are the reflection. Emotions can often be a reflection of how a present event affects our inner child. When an emotion comes out that does not make sense to you, take a moment to sit with it. Ask yourself, what is this emotion attached to inside of me that goes beyond what I am experiencing now? Journaling is a good exercise to explore these emotions further. So many of you guys as well are dealing with understanding your emotions. We do have the Ace of Cups right here in reverse. So there may be a lot that you guys are emoting that you don't necessarily understand right now, or what I'm actually picking up intuitively is a lot of you guys don't have the time to dive into your emotions right now. You may feel as though you don't have a lot of time to reflect. You may feel as though you don't have the luxury to have the time to reflect, because reflection is a luxury. Reflection is something that has to be afforded. It has to be bought because it takes time. And many of us don't have time because we have lives that we have to keep up with and maintain and, pay for, essentially. It costs to be alive. So, yeah, a lot of you guys, there is some sort of emotion that you may need to sit and reflect with. Let's see the hidden message from your inner child, or something that's hidden that your inner child wants you to know about. And it says here, go on an adventure. And it says, today is a day to try something new, explore just for fun, and be a bit more daring. Practice living in the moment. Do something spontaneous and be okay with not having anything or everything planned. Do not let apprehension keep you from your new adventure. That feeling will fade, but the wonder that is to be found will surely not. So, like, my pile fives are just in need of a break. That's what I'm really picking up with this emotions are the reflection and this go on an adventure card. My pile fives are really in need of a break. You're in need of spoiling yourself a little bit, doing some things for you. Like I said, you keep trying to give away this Ace of Cups. You keep trying to give away these blessings that you come across or that you are able to produce, and you keep getting rejected. The people that you're trying to give them to, you may get rejected by, where they're like, no, keep your money. No, don't buy this for me. Don't do that for me. Because you do need to do some things for you as well, pile five. Don't forget to give to you. Don't forget to reflect on your own emotions. Don't be so, it's okay to want to do for your family, but don't forget to also do for yourself as well, because it's also another thing that your family really wants. They just want you to be good. Like I'm telling you guys, like, they're not really looking for anything else besides just you being good and you being in a position where they don't have to worry about you. And so a lot needs to be reflected on when it comes to you. You gotta learn how to put a little bit more investment, a little bit more time and energy into yourself as well. Very important, because like I said, we've got this Ace of Cups in reverse. So this is you almost trying to give back everything that you're receiving. And there's nothing wrong with that, but your inner child also wants you to make sure that you're giving to you, that you're just as proactive about giving to you that you are to giving to your loved ones. Okay, and let's get one final message here from the Great Mother Set, also known as the ancient Egyptian goddess Isis. And so whether or not you work with her energy, believe in her energy, resonate with her energy, she is a mother to all. So let's hear what the Great Mother has to say. Okay. We got two cards here. And so we have Enter the Chamber of Healing, and it says healing in the divine chamber of the Lady Isis. And then we have Temple of Black Obsidian, the dark healing chamber. Healing chambers. This is like this is interesting. We got the healing chamber twice actually for you. What I feel like you guys need to heal intuitively is this trauma that your parents or your grandparents may have went through, this trauma of this star moment, coming from this destruction, coming from this life or death sort of moment. I feel like is something that still may be within you guys. It may have sort of energetically imprinted onto you guys in a sense. So let's see. I'm going to read the out of the book, the Enter the Chamber of Healing. It says here, a spiritual gift of healing is coming to you now. Be open without expectation or preconceived notions, and allow the healing from the Lady Aset, Mistress of Magic, to help you find the best solution for any situation that does not appear to be as it should be. Take your time and create space into which her magic and energy can flow now, and expect your miracle. And then we have here Temple of Black Obsidian. I'm just going to read that. Beloved Initiate, the most challenging task is not to confront an external enemy, but to take courage in both hands and journey within to meet our own dark self and begin the healing task of bringing love, acceptance, and light to it. That is the sacred purpose of any enemy within or without, to bring us more deeply into our own being as we seek to find and heal the darkness within. Okay, so there is some sort of a darkness within. Like I said, I think a lot of it just has to do with this very this like tower moment that either like a grandparent came from or a parent came from. Maybe you had a rough, like I said, maybe you grew up in a rough neighborhood or childhood. Even though everybody tried to do as much as they could for you, there may have been, like I said, you were a product of your environment. And this environment that I'm seeing is very chaotic, very destructive. And so that is what may have sort of imprinted into you guys' energy that needs to be released. So definitely working with Black Obsidian can help for sure. But you guys just taking some time to refill yourself and your own cup with this Ace of Cups in reverse right here. The Star, it takes time for her to rebuild. It takes time for her to get to that point to where she's completely removed from that tower moment. It takes time. You know, and so this is a gradual healing process that you guys are going through. Like I said earlier, I don't believe that your inner child needs healing. I think that it is already in a process of healing, and all it really needs is time, because you guys are getting there. You guys are getting to a space and a place where you feel more whole and you feel safer and you feel more and more removed from that childhood or that tower moment that you or your family may have stemmed from. And so this is why I think that this Go on an Adventure card is here, where it's just like do something for yourself. This looks like a vacation to me, a little bit of like travel, just doing like spoiling yourself in a sense is very important. You guys might not be used to spoiling yourself, especially if you came from the environment of making ends meet, barely getting by. It may be difficult for you to spoil yourself, but this is all about you guys spoiling yourself. You're trying to spoil other people, but spoil yourself, okay? Because this is very, very important for my pile fives, to do something from yourself. Splurge a little bit when it comes to spending on yourself and doing for yourself. And this is honestly going to help your healing process along as well. Okay, so this is all that I'm seeing for my pile fives. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I do pray this reading brought you guys love, support, clarity, and strength. Let me take this time to thank your guides, my guides, our higher self, amazing spirit, your inner child, as well as a great asset for coming through and delivering these messages. Hopefully you all come back to visit sometime soon, but until next time, please stay safe, healthy, blessed, and keep conquering the world. Bye, guys.